Okay, all right. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Danvers Planning Board meeting of May 14th, 2024. The first item on the agenda, just to let people know, the public hearing for 191 Old Burley Street, Beverly Airport, has been postponed until our meeting of June 11th. So if you're here for that, that meeting has been postponed. So the first item on the agenda, Planning Board reorganization. We need to elect a chairperson and clerk. This is the end of my third go-around as chair, and I appreciate everyone's help on the board for the last almost 2.5 years, and I think the board itself has kind of grown up in the last 2.5 years, where we have younger members that are getting a lot of experience and getting more involved and more questions and interaction, which I appreciate, and I look forward to turning it over to, typically we would turn over to the next most experienced members, which in this case are Lou and then Tori. I'm not sure how the board feels, but I would entertain a slate of Lou as chairperson and Tori as clerk. Do we have anything from the staff on this?
No. No comment.
Okay.
I would just maybe...
We'll do one at a time?
I would just do maybe one at a time.
Sure.
That's all. But,
Yep. Any questions or comments from the board? Anyone? No? All right. I would invite someone to make a motion to appoint Lou as the new chairman.
I'll make that motion. Move that we appoint Lou George as the new chairman of Planning Board.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jean. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. And secondly, we will need the appointment of a new clerk. If I could have a motion on that.
I'd like to move that Tori Adler be the clerk of the planning board.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, Lou. You can talk about the minutes.
Okay.
Or staff, I'm sorry.
No, it's just we should just officially continue
Sure.
the Old Burley item.
Okay. Very good. Let me just take a moment, first of all, and thank you all for this. I'm happy to serve as the chair, and I wanted to thank Jim for his leadership and experience, and which has been much appreciated. I've been now on planning board now, I guess, since just before the beginning of the pandemic, and so it's I've definitely I think gained a lot of experience, and I've appreciated your counsel and hope to continue that.
Thank you.
So, and look forward to working with Tori as well as clerk. I don't know if you have anything you wanted to say.
I will try and read all this stuff quickly and audibly.
Okay.
And I may still turn to the two of you as legal professionals when it gets to the actual wording of amendments and such.
Okay. Excellent. Well, that sounds good. And again, I want to also thank my fellow members as well, and look forward to working with you all. Have enjoyed working with you, and look forward to continue to work with you as we move along. So, okay. So I think the first item, Josh, I think we do need a formal. And let me just read this one here. This was a public hearing as to 191 Old Burley Street, Beverly Airport, which is a request for site plan review pursuant to Section 4 of the zoning bylaw, submitted by Flight Level Aviation for property in the civic space, institutional space uses, CS Inst zoning district. The applicant proposes to construct a 39,900 plus or minus square foot storage hangar for airplanes associated site modifications, Assessor's Map 22, Lot 155. And I believe there is, the applicant indicated that they requested a continuance until our meeting of June 11th.
That is correct.
Okay. And so I believe doing so, then we'll need to I'll need to entertain a motion to continue. And this is now, just so I have to understand, so we're just continuing the public hearing. We don't need to continue the action date, correct?
one comment, we do need to, I guess, open the hearing
Okay.
and say, we're opening the hearing tonight, and then make an official, motion to continue it. The second comment is, we no longer, because in the housekeeping amendments at town meeting that we made in February, we're no longer, the site plan applications are similar to special permits in that they are public hearings, no longer public meetings. And so we removed the language regarding action dates.
Great.
So the site plan applications can be discussed at several planning board meetings if necessary. And once the public hearing is closed, staff or with the planning board, we have 90 days to file a decision.
Mhm.
So that's our kind of, our important dates or milestones that we have to.
Okay,
Yep.
very good. So, sounds good. So in terms of the operative, just for purposes of the audience, so the operative period is the close of the public hearing
Correct.
with consideration for the recently approved housekeeping amendments.
That's right.
All right, so hearing all that, so I guess we open the public hearing
Yep.
on 191 Burley Street. Okay. So now having the hearing been opened, I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the request of the applicant to our next meeting of, not our next meeting, to our meeting of June 11th.
That is
I
right.
move that we continue the public hearing to the meeting of June 11th.
Second.
Okay, very good. There's a first by Tori, second by Jim. All those in favor of the motion to continue, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay. So the motion passes. Okay. So just for those of you who just entered the room, there was a request by the applicant to continue the hearing on the 191 Old Burley Street, Beverly Airport. So it's just been, and so it's been moved and approved, so that the public hearing is going to be continued to June 11th. Okay. Anything further, Joshua, we need on that?
No.
Okay, very good. All right, our next item here are the minutes. Okay, you all should have received the minutes from our meeting of April the 9th, 2024. Okay. Okay, any corrections to those minutes? Okay. All right, and I think we had everybody in attendance here except for Jim Sears.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes for April 9th, 2024.
Okay, motion by Tori, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Jean. Okay, very good. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
And we have one abstention, Jim is abstaining.
Yep. Just wanted to confirm that Michael can vote on this. Just want to make sure you're approved. All right, good. Thank you.
Oh, Michael can vote, very good, thank you. Thanks for clarifying. Okay. Okay. I think that's it in terms of our items here. So what is the, so I guess in terms of the next,
Yeah.
since we
Yeah.
do have a little time here,
Sure.
why don't we see what's the next item on the agenda here potentially?
Yeah, so just for like upcoming items, our next regularly scheduled meeting is May 28th. There are no applications at this time and will likely not. So May 28th will very likely be canceled. The June 11th meeting would then be the next regularly scheduled meeting. So it would be the 191 Old Burley Street application, which we just continued. The Logan Express kind of final phase will likely also be discussed that evening.
Okay.
And there's potentially 2 A&R applications that will likely be submitted between now and then.
Okay. And that's Logan Express with respect to the sort of the final site plan review?
That's right.
Okay.
Our previous discussion with them was regarding kind of that temporary phase, but the next application is their final construction, how it will operate for the foreseeable future. So,
Okay.
one other kind of date that I wanted to discuss with the board is the Land Use and Community Service staff, or LUX.
Could you repeat that again, sorry?
Yep, the Land Use and Community Service Department, which planning is under, or we call it LUX. We are in the process of putting together what we're calling a land use summit for Thursday, June 13th, in which the planning board, zoning board, select board, and several other committees and boards in town related to, related to land use. On Thursday, June 13th, from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Toomey Room, we are planning on putting together kind of like a discussion about several kind of land use items. One of them being a potential town meeting in the fall, and what kind of amendments or things would be included on that town meeting.
Sure.
Kind of other larger kind of planning / zoning kind of projects, ideas for the fall and/or January of 2025, sort of like bigger picture type items. And just other kind of higher level items in town related to land use. So wanted to get that on your folks' calendars, but I will send a reminder and other information as it moves forward. But
And I would anticipate for the upcoming, fall town meeting, which is typically where the zoning amendments come through, we're looking at I guess, anything, so from that summit, we'd be looking at any potential new initiatives, as well as any sort of, I know we've also found, and I think as we're also moving along with some of the downtown zoning, we'll probably, there might be some areas where, lessons learned or things we want to look to.
sure, and that's certainly something that we're thinking about, talking about, looking for input from the residents and the boards and committees. I think we'll certainly have a portion of that evening, for kind of that type of discussion, for sure.
Right. So what's working, what seems to be working well, what area may need some tweaks, et cetera.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I won't be here on that date. I did have a question on the Logan Express. We had talked with Simon Properties Management about doing something about the lighting. I had given them a 30-day period to get back to us on that. Have you heard anything on that?
I did. I had a meeting with them this morning.
Okay.
Because we're at 30 days it's coming up, is it?
Probably 3 weeks.
It would probably been 30 days from the decision, so
It's 3
I'd have to
weeks
look at, I'd have to,
It was
But-
3 weeks ago was our meeting.
so I did have a conversation with them today, meeting with other town staff. The board will be happy to learn that we were talking about kind of a first phase of repaving that ring road, in what section. I think the idea is, at this juncture, to start at that kind of the Federal Street Ring Road kind of intersection is like a focus. So we had a decent decent dialogue about that with the town engineer, and what we were thinking about in terms of a scope for that. Also in our meeting, there was a plan that they showed staff what lights are broken, which ones they need to replace the lights, and then also there were several lights discussed, especially near that back entrance off of Ash. I don't have the plan in front of me, but there was at least 4 or 5 light poles that they had just ordered that they were in the process of receiving soon and installing 4 or 5 new light poles. So
Great.
sort of like that, that conversation that we had at the meeting a couple weeks ago. So it does seem like it was a productive meeting, and it appears that things will be happening soon, especially on the lighting piece.
Great.
Yep.
Because it was part of the, I mean, it was also a condition of the approval.
Yep. That's right.
And we set a timeline on it, so if there's an issue in terms of that they're not able to meet that timeline, then,
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I believe that it was 30 days to come up with a plan.
got
I
it.
think is how it's written.
Okay.
But we seem to be moving in that direction for sure. So,
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I will note that I'm also not going to be at the June 11th meeting.
Okay. Okay, so so just right, so Jim will not be at June 11th, and...
No, June 17th.
Ju-
I think the 13th I won't be at.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll be at the 11th, but I won't
Yep.
be at the regular.
You won't be at the summit.
Correct.
Yep.
I'm going to miss the summit.
Okay. But will you be...
I will also miss the summit. I'll be gone that whole week.
Oh, you'll be gone that
in
whole week.
Seattle.
Okay.
Okay. But Tori, will we be here for the planning board meeting on June 11th?
I will not.
Will not.
Correct.
Okay.
Unable to participate remotely?
I'll be on the West Coast, so it'll be working hours. There's
Okay.
a slim chance, but I'm leading a lot of the agenda items at my meeting out there, so I
Understood.
may not be able to remove myself.
Okay. Very good. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Okay, very good. Anything else from staff?
Not at this time.
So, in that instance, you would only have 4 members that could vote at that meeting,
That's right.
unless it goes to another meeting, then Tory could watch
He could watch one meeting,
Yeah.
sign the Mullins.
and then participate in the second meeting if it goes
That-
to 2 meetings.
That's right. But he could only miss one.
So
just-
they would need 3 out of 4 votes.
Yes.
They would.
So I think you
Yeah.
definitely need to let them know that,
Yep.
Yeah,
because they'll probably kick it to the next meeting if that's the case. I would think they would.
I would think they may want to move, yeah, so if that's,
Is Nancy representing them? Nancy McCann?
Neither of them at this time, but I do not believe so for either of the applications. So
What's the other one?
one's-
it's the Logan Express,
Oh, the Logan, yeah.
Massport.
Yeah, yeah.
and then it would be the airport.
in the airport at the last, yeah, I've not, I know that they were, that I don't believe they were represented at the Conservation Commission meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're coming in with with a final location plan
Yes.
already, even though they haven't started in the other place? Seems.
Yeah. They're showing us like when like their kind of their final location for everything, the final kind of circulation
Okay.
and everything. So
And they indicate they were coming forward, I think, in around June. I think that's in, did they indicate June or July?
who's that? I'm sorry.
The applicant for the Logan Express.
Yeah, June 11th.
No, I'm saying, didn't they indicate at the previous meeting that they were going to be coming forward with the final, like, around now, or not now, but in June or July? It was in the near term.
Well, they submitted it a couple of days ago,
Okay,
and that's what we'll be discussing at the June 11th
Got it.
meeting. Yep.
okay. All right, so, I'd imagine then that they should also be aware, too,
Yep.
that, that we'll have a smaller complement.
Sure.
Okay. So, okay, that's good.
Do you want to entertain any?
Josh, on the, back
But-
to, yeah, okay. Back to the summit that you had mentioned,
Yes, sir.
is there any plan to, I know the strategic planning initiative has been going on for some time, and I thought there was at one point discussion about us having a separate meeting with the folks leading the strategic planning initiative.
That's good. But-
Is that the right venue for an update on what's going on, or providing any input?
That could potentially be a piece of it. If you'd like, I could talk to my colleagues if, what, the kind of, if stuff out of the strategic plan, kind of highlights of that, will be discussed also. That's a good point. I could bring that up to Aaron.
Do you happen to know the expected end date on or the timeline of the completion of the strategic plan? Excuse me.
I do not know officially, but I think there is, not to speak out of turn, but I believe that the kind of final report and recommendations are kind of being ironed out. I think it's definitely towards the end.
Thanks.
Any other comments or questions by members of the board? I was going to see, because we are talking about, we're talking about the summit, and I know we have some members of the public here, if you had any comments or questions, more general planning-related issues, because we'll have this land use summit coming up. Can't really entertain any sort of comments about the application that's been continued. But if you have if there are any other general comments or questions that you'd like to make? Yeah? Okay, sure. All right, well, thanks for coming for that, yeah, but, okay. Any other? Okay. Okay. Very good. So, I think we have,
Move to adjourn?
okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
All right.
very good, thank you. All right.